You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Where do I come from?
It seems like you have a little problem understanding the English language.
The only way a guy like you gets a set of nuts is by buying them at the concession stand.
I will eat his carcass in front of his little gazelle friends.
It's like a jar of mayonnaise with eyeballs and a ketchup haircut.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty!
Son of a bitch.
Wow, man, freaked out!
Get your fucking shit together, my God!
And I'm living now, yeah!
I want to know what's going on, and I want to know right now.
It's like the most important man in the world standing here, and you got a conversation going with each other.
I would like to just get to know you.
The great one says you can kiss his ass.
Nice to meet you. What's going on?
I wish horrible flesh-eating disease on you and your family, but not a disease where you die, a disease where you have to walk the earth mutated as some sort of piece of...
Listen to me very carefully.
Whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
Listen to me very carefully.
Maybe I am insane. And maybe it's time for you to find out how insane I am. Yeah.
We're not here to take part, we're here to take over!
How y'all doing? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're staying away from the drama that is social media as much as you possibly can, though we want you with us, hanging with us for the next hour or so before we get into Backlash. Yes, guys, we would normally have a virtual party tonight for the pay-per-view. We did one last week. Matthew is on full effect, so we don't really want to rock that boat 2 weeks in a row. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit this one out tonight. But tomorrow night, we got something very special for you as New Japan is getting back to action. So we'll have some details on that coming up here later in the show. Also, I'll shoot right over to the Belt Cam 3000. Oh, wait, I didn't add my echo effect. Sorry. Where is that at? No. Belt Cam 3000. Oh, okay, sorry. But anyway, so we've got our belt in. We infiltrated the bingo fashions and their seemingly debauchery going on there. So we infiltrated them, and there's our product right there in a box, DHL tape, you know, the drill. So we're going to get into that, and we're all going to find out what this thing looks like together, and we're going to have fun with that. But before we get into all that other stuff, the hobby is like so drama-filled. I don't know what to say, guys. I feel like like what I was saying when we left the show, man. It was like I feel like it's like a bunch of sixth grade girls working this hobby right now, and you guys can get in on the. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Stitcher and Spreaker and all that other crap. Studio57Radio.com. Wherever you're checking us out, get on the social feed. You can get in on that stuff. We'll chat there also. if I'm not getting to you or I missed you or whatever, you want to be anonymous, we got this text line thing here. You can do that too, 313-307-5340. Lock that in your phone. You can hit us up. Even when we're not live, we'll answer questions. So that is always there for you. But especially when we're live, you can get in on the conversation. So it looks like we got a nice little crew of the regs in the house, so I appreciate you coming hanging out with me. I know there's other options out there for you, so the fact that you come hang out with me is just freaking outstanding. So thank you very kindly. Speaking of somebody out there, often imitated, never duplicated, this is the only real webcast for the hobby. I'm sorry, there's so many other podcasts out there doing their thing, and it's cool, but they're like all agenda driven, and we're going to kind of talk about agendas a little bit and stuff too once we get past some of the drama that has been the hobby. So if you guys haven't been out there in a lot of the more popular groups, I'd say the more populated groups of Facebook with these belts and stuff is they've been just going back and forth at it, guys, like little kids. And we talked about how I'll call Carmine out for what he is. He's a bottom feeder and he's a scam artist as far as this hobby should be concerned. And we've had we had the Sean McCluster thing a couple years ago. Same thing, same kind of guy, same kind of situation, just packaged a little differently. That's all. Anytime someone's out here doing their thing, you got to wonder like what their agenda is. Even if you're dealing with me, right? What's my agenda? I think I've made my agenda clear over the last couple of years. It's really just to kind of clean up the hobby and put things out there and just kind of leave more behind than I take away when it comes to the hobby. Juan, Mike, thanks for everybody for hanging in here. So that's kind of what I want to do. And so we're going to, we've gotten some sponsorship deals and some stuff for the podcast rolling already. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff like this, like infiltrating the bingo fashions and checking out some other stuff. And then we're going to be, doing some giveaways. But guys, when you see a podcast and all, hey, share this and do that and do this and hey, and wow, and who and be that, we're going to give away a belt only if you come and watch ours. Dude, I'm not doing that. My incentive is going to be the content, the things that we're going to do. And then I will, down the road, I will start giving you guys stuff away. But I'm not going to come off Jump Street and go, hey, get this free big gold championship if you like our page, and then just scam everybody into liking the fucking page and not delivering and liking the show and not delivering on the product. So you're seeing a lot of that in the hobby. So like I said, lots of podcasts out there trying to do this thing, but they all have their own little agenda. We've got a podcast that's probably going opposite us right now. Same thing, man. They do their little thing, and it's funny because once again, it's these 3 or 4 groups all bickering with each other over the same stuff, and then they're backstabbing each other and talking trash to each other behind each other's backs, and then doing podcasts together. It's like, you guys are cracking me up. And then you'll go and do your podcast, and you'll do a whole hour or 2 hours or whatever on how you shouldn't talk about a guy that you did nothing but talk about the whole time. And it's like, oh, we got to drop it. We got to stop doing it. But then you went on and on and on for hours and beat a dead horse. And quite frankly, every one of you guys are the pots calling the kettle black. I don't know what to say, man. This hobby needs to be different. You need to have some integrity with the shit that you're saying. No free belts. You're out of here. I got you, Mike. No, and that is stuff that we do. I mean, ask Juan, ask some of the other cats that have been involved in the J-Dubs. J-Dubs will come to this show and do giveaways at some point. We will do something like that. But I'm not going to trick you into coming and liking our page. That's dirty pool. That's bait and switch. I don't do business that way. There's a lot of stuff like that. It's just, it's not how you do shit. And so to go on and start running your mouth about something, it's cool. If you want to clear the air, you want to say some stuff, you want to do things, you want to make things right, you want to try to make peace within the community. You want to make peace within the community, the peace that you broke. I mean, you guys are the ones, that little clique of motherfuckers are the ones causing all the drama, and then you want to stop talking about the drama and eliminate the drama. Y'all are a part of it. You're all a reason why it's going on. I see the same faces doing the same shit, just moving from group to fucking group. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. I'm not knocking anybody, man. I mean, some of these cats, I've reached out to me and I've dealt with them, whether they even know it's me or not. They might know now because of the J-Dub stuff being more public than it was when I first started. But when I first started, I don't think people really correlated who I was with my business, so to speak. And so I've talked to a lot of cats and a lot of these, and man, just don't believe the hype, man. One is, and everybody's got a damn agenda. We've talked about the Matthews situation, right? This has been a huge thing. We've been talking about the Matthews situation. We know that Matthew, whether it's still Matthew or there's multiple Matthews or whatever it is, there's somebody out there that is working for the UFC and for WWE and for other companies as well, and they're just cracking down on this bootleg product, especially now when the economy is really bad and things aren't moving. This is a way for them to kind of make up for lost revenue, and so they're going to do that stuff, and they're going to be heavy deep on it. So that's plaguing the groups as well as far as bootlegs and stuff go. But what do? You put up a post. You can't post any bootlegs. You can't sell any bootlegs. You can't put anything up here bootleg. And then the admin that puts that out there very much approves fucking bootleg sale posts. It's like, what? And then so there's mass confusion and stuff like that. So people are kind of running around, and it's because there's only certain things, there's only certain rules when it applies or serves a certain person's need, right? So we're not going to bounce bootlegs because I'm getting caught, I'm getting bounced up. They're all up in my grill about a bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to tell you, one group with guys selling bootlegs that they already own is not what they're after. So if they're using that as a front for why you can't put shit in your fucking place, no, that's not it. There's more to it than that. It's the same thing. Oh, PayPal's fucked up, so that's why my PayPal don't work, because PayPal is a bunch of assholes and they don't do shit right. No, dude, you did something janky and PayPal had to shut you down to limit their liability. It's that fucking simple. So cats that can't hold PayPals, it's not because, oh, somebody messed them up. It's because they're doing shit they're not supposed to be doing. It's that simple. It's that simple. Accidents happen, mistakes happen, yes, absolutely. But you can resolve those. There's guys out there, you've seen them. My PayPal was messed up, now it's fixed. That shit happens. But when you're shut down and you're done, that's telling you something. I only can do Western Union or Walmart to Walmart. Well, guess what? Western Union's cracking down now too. Do you think you're going to be able to send Western Union to Pakistan anymore, guys? It's done. That shit's going to be done. That part of the hobby's changing. So they're trying to cut off. You're going to have, it's like Foobly or Fobly or Jobly or Jubly or some dumbass fucking name is going to be like the only company you're going to be able to transfer money overseas to some of these places, because they're trying to identify, and they're going to identify it easily. That's what they're in your groups for. They want to identify who and where the bootlegs are coming from, not the people that already have them, that are slinging them around. Like, that doesn't do them any good. I mean, that's not what it does. Stopping that stuff does, but that's not their main target. That's not what they're after. So you guys got to kind of understand how this thing fucking works. They're trying to get all these bootleg makers. If they get the makers and they stop all of that shit, they stop the imports, they catch them while they're coming in, they make it really hard and put those cats out of business, then they don't have to go and hit every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's got a bootleg belt. You know what I mean? They don't have to do all that, because all that other stuff stops, and then that money comes back to them. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for T-shirts too. It's the same thing. These cats sling T-shirts out in front of the venues, which is not a thing right now. But all kinds of illegal merchandise, whether it's streaming, whether it's T-shirts, whether it's belts. It doesn't matter. They're going after all of it, and they're going to get all up in your groups. And then these guys that are running these groups, and they think by telling you not to do the bootleg thing is helping them. It kind of is. So I'm not going to knock them on that. But then, if you're worried about on purpose. Oh, there, my mic went out. Sorry. So you got all these groups together, and I'm sorry. And we'll get into the Amazon shit here in a minute, Mike. So all these groups, so you get all these together. I can't have bootlegs in here, but you let bootleggers in there, and then you let people in there that are fully 100% against them, and will be gladly rat you out, even if by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not worried about covering up your shit, and if someone finds out through them, they don't care. And maybe not this so much that they're rats or snitches, but you got them all in a group. You're bringing them all in. What do you think's going to happen? It's chaos. You know, guys, the BCU group, that's why the BCU group is small, because we're not going to go through all that. And then we don't do sales. Then you don't have to do all that. If you're looking for something, you say in search of, you put it out there. If someone has it, they'll reach out to you. That's a much better way to deal with it. Then when you have a conversation, you have a deal that you want to work, then you go back in and you get a reference check. And if you can't get the references that you need, then you don't do business. That's the way you do secondhand business, okay? Anything less than that is crazy. If you're using a middleman, you know, if that makes you feel more comfortable because of the financial situation, but it doesn't secure your money anymore and it's costing you something. Every single middleman is out getting his own thing. It's the same reason why these middlemen are in groups talking about doing their podcasts and all this other stuff, because they're trying to get their cats over. It's the same reason why these middlemen do little videos about, you know, oh, I'm going to review this belt and I'm going to tell you how great this belt is from, you know, ABC belts, and then I'm going to see CDE belts does the same kind of thing for cheaper, and I'm going to find anything I can find, and I'm going to trash them, I'm going to run them down, and then I'm going to say, by the way, go to ABC belts. So that's what everybody's doing. Understand that everybody's got an agenda. If you got a guy, you know, plugging for a belt company and he's all about, oh, look what I got from this company, look what you can get. Oh, if you want something, go to there, do this, do that. I try not to plug it. If I'm plugging J-Dubs, I'm on J-Dubs plugging J-Dubs. You're there for J-Dubs. I'm not hustling you over stuff just to get you, get myself over. My product will get itself over. And so I don't have to trash other cats either. You know, if I see something else, you know, I'll tell you what I think if you ask me. Other than that, we'll keep it moving. And then as we do this, that's what we're going to find out. We're going to get into this stuff. So yeah, if a guy is shilling, boom, 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 it's the same thing. Like, I'm not going to call Stephen Hammer out because he's cool. Everybody, you know, his reputation seems to be very good, only being about in this as long as I have, just a few years. But he's a shill for Fight Night. So whether he makes money or not, that's his guy. That's what he pushes. And so anything that gets in the way of that, you know, he's going to either stand mute or have something to say against it. So, which is fine. You know, he's right about all the things that he tells you and teaches you. You know, we've talked about it here. So like I said, I don't want to use him as like a negative example, but you think about it. We'll just use him as an example here. And if it gets back to him, Steve, and don't get mad at me, this is not what I'm saying. But if you work for Fight Night and you put out videos for Fight Night, just example, or once again, ABC belts, let's just do that. So you put out a review show for ABC belts and you show those belts and you push those belts. And then CDE belt has the same thing going on, and you trash them because you find flaw A, B, and C with them. Whether they're legitimate or not, you find flaw and you do that. That's not good for your look, just for one thing. And then, and Hammer's right when he talks about Bingo, because Bingo is his heart. He's got a heart on for Bingo, and that's why I bring him up, because we're going to bring a Bingo belt in here. And that's why I didn't want to compare him too much. You know, I just wanted to kind of bring up the deal, so to speak. So of course, all the red flags we talked about. Bingo's all the red flags. You know, they're eBay. They got pictures that aren't theirs. Blah 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 blah. So and Steven's really been pounding the pavement on that one. But he works for Fight Night Belts. So, I don't know if he works for them, but he promotes them quite a bit, verbally. So if he's going to promote them, then he probably should not bash others. Just say, hey, look, this is what I know, and this is the red flag, and leave it at that. Not put out videos saying, this is what you'll get if you don't know what you'll get. We're going to find out right now. I'm going to put a video out of what you'll get. It's not what you think you're going to get, or it's not what you assume that they're going to get. This is what you get. So that's the thing, right? So the only flaw in what Hammer did would be, you know, I don't want, you know, for him to come out and say, this is probably what you'll get. Well, if you don't have evidence, that's assuming facts, not in evidence, and we're going to bring those facts into evidence, and then you could say that shit, Hammer. You could take the pictures we got, and you could say, this is what Bingo shows, this is what they got, and that's what we're going to do. And I would implore Hammer and some of these other guys to get this info and put it out there, so that it is for the record, so that you can put it out there with credibility, and you can say, look, I know for a fact, and you don't see. To me, if I say, like, okay, so J-Dubs does lower end custom belts. We don't have a whole lot of competitors in that particular market, but if, like, you know, BC Belts, okay, he might be in there. So if BC Belts, he starts doing stuff really big and doing stuff good, I'm going to be proud of BC Belts, you know, doing your thing, getting that whatever. And if I thought that he was doing something janky, of course we would talk about it in our group, but I wouldn't, like, at every turn tell you how bad BC Belts is without knowing what the product is. You know what I'm saying? So just saying it because, you know, red flags are there. I will tell you that the red flags are there, and I'll let you make the decision. That's how you hold credibility in this business, in any business, is you don't, you know, put that stuff out there without having something. So that's what we're going to do. We've got something here, and we're going to get into this. So, and that's the thing, too. Amazon, you can see, guys, Amazon, and you know, I saw, you know, Mike mention it in the things. Amazon has got belts galore. Bootlegs are popping up everywhere, and those are the things. Those are the real reasons why they're out. Because you think a bunch of wrestling fans down south in the middle of nowhere collecting these rare belts that you can't even get replicas of. I mean, the WWE bootleg universe is very small when you look at the entire hobby. As far as you look at customs, you look at anything outside the WWE, you look at discontinued belts and belts that you can't get made any other, that, you know, replicas of, and things like that. All the new and old belts that get recycled over the time. The WWE belts that are currently under trademark are a very small, minute portion of the hobby. So to be arrogant enough to think that that's what brought you into this thing. No, dude, it's Bezos and Amazon. It's eBay. It's these huge conglomerates drawn in, whether it's the individual sellers making the money, or it's Amazon or eBay making the money. It doesn't matter. They see that on a scale there that they can, like, tangibly go, oh man, we're losing a lot of money. You can't put enough moles in these groups to sit here and go, oh, okay, yeah, we're losing thousands of millions of dollars and bootleg in these. But you can't. There's no way to put it. There's no way to do it. So, but when you look at Amazon and you look at eBay and you see those two, and they've got pages dedicated to it, and it shows how many have moved and how many are, all that stuff's out there, and the price, that's tangible shit. So that's what brought them to this thing. What brings them to the groups is when you do janky ass shit. That's what brings you to the groups. Money. You know, they think you're funding terrorism or you're gambling. That's what gets these things jammed up. That's what gets your PayPal. That's what gets these groups shut down. Hate speech, scams, gambling, sending money to places they probably shouldn't be sending money to, all that kind of shit. You know, dealing with 100,000 accounts all over the place, $2 at a time, will get you shut the fuck down. So it's just. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, see, Mike, that's what I'm saying. BC and Mud, that's what I'm talking about. They're like that. But I would never, no matter what, not having any other product, I would never give an opinion. And I would only give an opinion if someone asked for my opinion. And I would never bash them without having a reason to bash them. You know, if there was a red flag that they put up, yes, we would share the red flag and then walk the fuck away. That's up to people to deal with. Holding credibility and having value in your word is all you have in this hobby, and you can't maintain it if there's, you know, a vested, you know, there's a, you know, a vested interest. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work that way. So I won't be able to do it for every single maker out there. It's just not feasible. But like when we have these big names, these big things that pop up that people are really riding, you know, I'm going to do my best to kind of do it. Let's get the facts. Let's get it out there. Let's be real about it. Middlemen, there are very few. I've dealt with a couple. And I've had middlemen even deal with me in my early days trying to get a product that would be like a cheap alternative that they thought maybe, some of their customers may want that they could keep in stock, because you'll know that some middlemen will purchase a stock of belts because they know they can turn them and they can have them right there handy. And sometimes you can get a cheap customer just because you've got one in hand ready to go. It's a cheap pop. You can get that just because of that. So a lot of guys do that. And so I've had middlemen that you guys are using, that I've seen in these podcasts, that I've seen in these groups, that I've seen in these posts, that I've heard you guys talking about, I've seen go live. Same thing. They want, they're going to buy a bulk of them. They want a little bit of a discount. Then they want to mark it up from what my price would be normally. And it's like, okay, that's fine if you think you can get it. But once people realize that it's my signature product, why would they pay you a 20% increase to come to me and get it at regular price? And then why would I in turn give you a 10% discount when they're going to want to come to me anyway, and I can maintain that 10%? So why would we allow for this 30% swing to go the other way? It doesn't make sense. Now, they didn't end up pulling the trigger because of that very same argument. So if I say something like that, they're like, oh, well, this guy's not gonna, it's kind of like if I know somebody's janky and shady and shitty, and I know that they got skeletons in their closet, they probably won't open my closet, okay? Because they'll be afraid that I'll open theirs. And so if I'm transparent and my closet doors are wide open and all the bones already fell out and I told you all about them, then there's nothing that you can do. So I feel when you do stuff like that, nobody wants to deal with it because they know, once again, that when I have that argument of why would we do that to the hobby, so that you could make some money. So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. And guys, I get you, and I appreciate you, SoCal Mike, for saying that you hate saying guys that are lower level and all that other stuff. And there's got to be some kind of classification, right? If you go into a music shop, which we wouldn't do anymore, but if you went into a music shop back in the day and you were looking for heavy metal, you wouldn't want to just wander around a place and get stuck in the classical and the country and the hip hop when all you want is heavy metal. You know what I'm saying? So there's got to be some kind of classification. So granted, when we get into those classifications, you'd be like, how would this get into this classification? I would put it there. That's arguing semantics, but you have to have some kind of classification. So yes, I am okay with understanding that, with some of the, most of these belt makers that do it on a mass scale, I am nowhere near there, and so we would be considered a lower tier. How about that? And you're right, bashing is not a thing that helps. It's not a thing that helps anything. Like the most people, it's already been proven. It's pretty simple psychology. It's already been proven that happy people are way more productive. If they're happy and satisfied with the things that are going on around them, they're way more productive. The best way, the whole key to happiness in life, it's not money, it's not swag, it's not fame, it's not power, it's not credibility, it's none of that shit. It is being surrounded by loving and supportive people. That is it. No matter how much money you make, rich people have problems too. It doesn't matter how broke you are, broke people got problems too. It doesn't matter how famous you are, famous people got problems too. It doesn't matter how much power you got, powerful people got problems too. But you know who doesn't have problems? People that are surrounded by people that they love and support. If they don't have naysayers, they don't have shit talkers, they don't have people going, and what do? They thrive in those environments. So it's a pretty simple psychological thing. And though you have to go through trials and tribulations and you have to go through hardships to achieve greatness, you don't need to be self-inflicted by surrounding yourself with negativity and horrible stuff. And that's kind of what's going on in the hobby right now. Lots of negativity. And that's what we were talking about when I first jumped on was, you know, you got these groups going back and forth at each other and there's so much negativity. It's almost a microcosm of social media, right? Like I don't know about you guys, but I stay out of my main normal feed because there's just too much politics, religion, just too much hate, too much this, too much that. And then it just seems like you would want to go to those groups to get away from that. But it's a microcosm of the same thing going on in the groups. It's just instead of bitching about politics or the Rona or whatever, they're bitching about, you know, middlemen scamming and people talking shit and just like sixth grade, you know, girl shit. Like, I don't know what to say. I mean, that sounds sexist, but I guess little boys did it too, but it's drama, and it's too much for that stuff. So I think if you can be positive and you can be upbeat and, you know, and you can hold some kind of credibility in what you say, then I think that goes a lot further than, you know, making demands, being bitchy, and then acting like you fucking know everything, which you get a lot of in this hobby. So once again, just like out on the playground, pick your friends wisely, have a good time, and enjoy the hobby for what it is, guys. The majority of the hobby's great. The majority of the people in it are very good people. And it's the same thing. Like, I've been learning a lot. It's the same thing, guys, because I'm going to get into this bingo thing because and I'll show you the kind of the relation, because the bingo, they're from Pakistan, right? So it's a totally different culture. So, you know, you guys know when you're dealing with customs or bootlegs, or you're dealing with the overseas makers, sometimes there's a language gap there. There's a little bit of a barrier. And so a culture gap. I think we have that even in the States, right? Because if you look at North and South, you look at East and you look at West, I think there is a bit of a cultural difference between people just inside the United States. So let's, like, you know, it's a matter of taking a little bit of time to understand the other, as opposed to just popping off about what you think is what shit should mean or whatever. It's the same thing. Everybody's online bickering about this, that, and the other thing. And the bottom line is, if everything was clearly defined for everybody and we all spoke nice to each other and made a nice clear definition of what all these things mean and what they are, then I find it very hard to believe that there would be this much bickering. Yeah, is there going to be a few loud idiots that, you know, vocal people? Yes. But I mean, I think if you broke down the definition of, you know, some of these cultural hot words right now, you know, whatever it is, these phrases, you know, the buttons. I'm not going to push them here. We're not talking politics here, but you know those hot buttons that are hot right now. If you just define what those things actually mean and people understood what they mean, they might not get so damn mad about those things. It's just there's so much, you know, people just don't understand each other, and that's the same thing when it comes to the hobby. Now, granted, once again, they'll always racist will be racist, and idiots will be idiots. You'll always have those out there, but I think for the most part, there's just a big, huge gap in understanding each other, and it's the same thing when I was dealing with bingo. So, so. As we know, Bingo Fashions is a huge... Well, eBay, first off, the eBay Amazon thing is, guys, don't be afraid. I told you about how you could protect yourself on eBay and with Amazon. Don't be afraid. Let's let that mystique go away of buying belts on eBay or on Amazon, because I got a beautiful... I hooked up with Green Man Leather via eBay before any of these groups and got a great... Ring of Honor championship from them. And so you just got to know, we got to follow the rules that we've all laid out here before that you guys all know. We got to follow all those things and everything will be fine. But and so it's so with okay. So with all of that is you're going to deal with, you know, this communication barrier. So when you go overseas. So that's the other part of it. It's not any different than when you go through a maker and a book in a Facebook group, or if you go on eBay. It's the same kind of scenario. At least eBay, there's some actual real protections there for you. As a group, there is nothing. But they're all coming from the same place, and the language barrier gap is still just the same. So what happens is we need to understand what goes on over there. If you're going to buy belts from a guy in Pakistan, you need to understand about Pakistan and the people of Pakistan. Do your research. I mean, don't trust the news and stuff like that. They're not going to tell you the truth because our country has their own agenda for that sector of the world. But if you understand anything about Indian people, Pakistanis, they're very friendly and very eager to please and very cool people. So they're very easily hurt that way as well. Like you could say and then when they don't understand our language, you could say something as simple as that belt is sick, and my man will think you mean sick like the Ebola and will be very angry that you hurt his feelings. Meanwhile, here in the D and across the United States, we know what sick means when you say it like that, right? So that's what we have to understand. Okay, so, and the huge popular thing on all of these sites, Amazon and eBay, which I hate, I don't agree, and I've implored anybody that has a business not to do it, but a lot of these businesses, not just belts, put up images that are reference images. They are not the real thing. They are references. The difference is a legitimate company will put some kind of print saying this is not the real thing, this is a reference image. Shady companies will leave that shit out. And so you see a lot of that. I hate that. To me, that's not cool at all. Put up a picture of your product. I understand it's custom or it's one of a kind or it's made to order or whatever. And so my results may vary, but I can look and see, wow, you made that? Well, at least I have a shot of getting what I'm looking for. And so, so that becomes, thanks for the love, guys, and supporting me and J-Dubs and all these makers out here, man. That's what that's why I say I love you guys every time I leave, because you guys keep this hobby rolling. But so there's a definitely a difference of doing things, when it comes to. I just think it's JD. Like, even when you go on my website, those are all going to be pictures about belts we've made. They're not going to be reference images. Even if I could, I wouldn't. I can't, because obviously we do customs, but even if I could, I wouldn't. So I've reached, and I've seen on all sites they do it. So I could go through and we could go on eBay, and about 90% of the belt makers on eBay use reference images, not their own. About 90%. The problem is they're all using the same fucking reference images, so that it becomes hard to shop. So, your profile picture is a reference. Jesus Christ, Canada Mike, you're awesome. All right, once again, red flags been all over the place about Bingo. I had seen Bingo and I'd been in touch with Bingo, and I had started, emailing, corresponding in two different fashions about the week before they kind of broke in the groups. So what I did is I had gone in as, I'm Scrappy. I have a podcast. I'm from Studio 57 Radio, and I want to know more about your product. What do you have to offer? Why are you using pictures that aren't yours? Things like that in the emails, and just kind of get a response. What would you say to a quote-unquote reporter that is asking you these questions? Like, how are you going to ask? Then I have myself individually would contact them via another email as just, a customer. So, and then of course, as I put, I get the riot act about the, an employee, whoever, the guy who runs our page and our web presence, put those up. I personally don't do that. I answer the emails, and I oversee the work, and he's the lead guy there. He's got a couple other people that work for him, and then he's got a guy that does just the postings and stuff like that. And so it took a minute to get that far into the conversation because, quite frankly, we don't quite understand each other as good as we should. Because English is not his first language, and I can't speak shit. Barely can speak English. So who the fuck am I to say? So then he started changing a few images. He changed the one that I called out on purpose, saying, "Hey, look, that's a Milliken image of the actual title belt. That's not your belt of the AEW Championship." And so he pulled that one and pulled some others. But I just believe that he doesn't have any current images probably to do all of them yet, or he might start doing them based on our probing and prodding. Not sure. And once again, that's the number one red flag that Bingo's got up there. So as Joe, the belt collector guy, I would like to order me an AEW Championship. Can I have one of those? So we went through that, and they make it look like that they sold 10 of them and they got 5 left. Hurry up and order kind of thing. So you order and you think, oh, yay, I got one coming right away. And then you reach out or you get the emails that go back and forth via the eBay. And they let you know that the belt has to be manufactured. Well, wait a minute. The belt has to be made. So now it's not sitting there ready. It needs to be made. Well, how long does it take to make? Well, it's a couple of days. So, but I'm Joe, the belt collector guy. I'm new to this, and I don't know. And so I let it go, knowing that whatever 12-day timeline or whatever he gave me was horse shit. There was just no way if he's doing belts in any volume that was going to happen, especially for a good version of the AEW. It's just not going to happen. And I wanted a 4mm zinc, 4mm stack. That's what I'm paying for. Great deal, better than most I've seen out there, about the price of a Premier world title on the resale market. On the resale market. That's what we got this for. So, once again, another red flag, too good to be true pricing. So, it'll take this many days. Oh, it's going to take a little longer because Ramadan. Well, okay, Ramadan. So now I got to stop playing. I'm not that dumb. I can Google Ramadan, and that shit's over. And most cats will, and so, I understand it goes for a couple more days, but why does that mean my thing's not going to get shipped for this long? And so we did that. And so, yeah, all the kind of the flags were there. But in the end, we got it figured out. He apologized for it taking a while. He sent me the tracking. Everything seemed to go well. Oh, that is insane. Shut up. No way. That's, and I'm going to get into this here. And let me do this real quick. So a maker, this is SoCal Mike. He says, I had a maker send me my American title you made as an example of his work. So I made an American Championship that was SoCal Mike's design, and he tried to use that, and a Westerns Championship that was from Leather Rebels, and say it was his. See, when people say, hey, this is an example of my work, and give you bullshit that's not theirs, then you go no further. So what I did with this guy was, hey, dude, I know this picture ain't right. And I know these times you're not being truthful with these times. How do I know that I'm not going to get a piece of crap belt? Show me a picture of one of your belts that you made. And this is Joe the belt guy talking to our boy at Bingo. And so he says, okay. And I said, no, don't just send me a picture. I want you to write on a piece of paper today's date and slide it underneath a plate or in between the plate and the leather. But I want the date exposed, faced up in the picture. That way I know you just took the picture and that you didn't just send me a picture from months ago of something you don't have. Once again, belted in production, it's not ready. I told them I don't care if it's finished or not. I'll be able to tell that you're going through the process properly based on the pictures that you're showing me. I understand it's going to take longer. We've gotten past that problem. I'm not mad at you. We were very nice. I stayed very cool. And so that's what happened. He took, very much so, took the plates. They were nickel and gold. They didn't have the stackers yet on them. He put a piece of paper under there. Everything looked on the up and up. And he sent me that picture through eBay. No problems. So I will give him credit for that. So that's a plus on his side. Okay? All those negatives we've been talking about for weeks, and all the stuff that I just spent the last 15 minutes talking about was all negative bullshit. There's the first positive. Second positive is after I got my tracking and all the stuff goes, before it landed, just before it landed, which I didn't notice because I didn't get the email. I wasn't looking. I didn't notice until after we got off the air. Well, yeah, it would have been way after we got off the air, but it was, I want to say it was, yes, it was definitely after we got off the air, and I want to say it was before it landed, which was a couple days later, so it was right in between there. I get an email stating that he forgot to put in a nameplate because I had not specified what nameplate I wanted, and he forgot to put one in there, and he was just going to throw a blank one in or whatever I want, but he was going to send it out. It was just going to be a little bit behind. I said, shoot me a blank one, and and when it's cool, it gets here when it gets here. He's like, I'm sorry, it wasn't on there, so I forgot, because you got to pick what you want, and I didn't do that in the category, and since I didn't, it didn't come up, and he didn't even think about it and spaced it. But he let me know in an email before it even landed. So to me, that's two good things. Okay, the only two good things we could find out of this transaction were those two things. Okay, well, the fucking things here. So I don't know if we're gonna find out if there's three good things or not. But before we get out of here for the day, we got to open this thing up. I know you guys want to get to Backlash, and I want to let you guys know about the New Japan party for tomorrow that we're going to have. So let me turn on the mic over there. We got the Belt Cam 3000. Oh, wait, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I got that up, but let me get the mic over there so you can hear me. I'm going to go around to the other side, and we'll peel this thing open, see what the verdict is on this Bingo Fashions. So, I know you can see me in that camera. I don't know how well you can hear me. I'm going to try to bring this mic to me a little bit. I can't see your messages or anything like that, so as you talk, feel free. But I'm going to try to just keep you informed through here the best I can. Hopefully you can hear me. All right. So yeah. Oh, wow, that opened up easy. All right, here we go. Are you guys ready? I'll get that right out of the way. Uh-oh, this is the belt facing us right here. Oh, shit. Okay. I mean, it's heavy. The box is heavy as shit. It weighed in at like 20 pounds or something like that. 22 pounds. Oh, got some stones. We'll take that. There's quite a few in there. Wow. Okay. Well. All right. Let's get that out of the way. And holy shit, this fucker's heavier than fuck. Let me turn it so you guys can see it better. Oh man, this thing's heavier than shit. Yeah, dude, this is heavier than anything I got in my collection. Definitely stacked. Looks 4mm zinc to me. It's on the traditional beef jerky leather. But yeah, this is definitely zinc plates. Let me see, get a micrometer on here and make sure. Wow. This thing is impressive, guys. This is not what I expected. I mean, this thing is stacked. All the AEWs are stacked. Everything's stacked. Banners are stacked. Gold plating looks good. The etching looks pretty clean. Wow. Let's make sure these are what they say they are. Let's fire this thing up. I'm impressed. I have to say I'm impressed. Well, you know, we were expecting the worst, right? So this is amazing. So we'll kind of go like that. I'll put this on here, and it is 4.05 millimeters. So yep, 4 millimeter, definitely zinc. It's heavier than shit. Stacked. These are 4 millimeter stacked. These are stacked. These are stacked. These are stacked. Etching is good. Plating is pretty good. We got some fingerprints and stuff on it, but I have to clean that up. Wow. I'll get into the leather now in a minute because that's gonna be the cons for sure. But wow, man, this thing looks really good, guys. Let me maybe put this camera on it and get up. I don't know if this will help. I don't know how well. I can't see what you're seeing, so I'm not sure if this is helping any. But I thought maybe you guys would get a good look at it. But the plating looks good. I mean, it needs to be restoned, I guess, because they're not Swarovskis, but I mean, or cubic zirconia, but you know, now this is that beef jerky fucking ass garbage leather, but you know me, guys, I'll put some nice leather on this. So, but there you go. That's a little bit of a close-up. The paint looks pretty good on it. There's not much to paint, so there's not a whole lot of places to make mistakes. I'm leaving prints all over this thing. But guys, this thing looks really good. It is heavier than shit. So yeah, let's get into the leather. This is definitely the negative. Wonky kind of cuts. Not the greatest rounded off cuts. I'm not mad at you, but that's pretty. Looks like the dog chewed on it instead of it being cut with a knife. Not real bad. I don't want to get too crazy. I'm being exaggerating a little bit, but it's a rough cut there. Of course, they didn't do any burnishing of the edges. They never do. It's like, you know, real leather doesn't make that sound. Let me grab a belt with real leather on it. There. This one's got real leather. You know, you can see the difference. Let me put the mic on this thing. Listen, you know, when you run your finger across this, you shouldn't be able to. That's leather. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's like beef jerky soaked in goat piss and stomped out until it resembles leather. I don't know what the fuck it is. But you know what? I'm all right with beef jerky until I can get some top sirloin on there, so to speak. So, not too bad. As far as I don't care. That's not my like I said. I'll put some leather on it. Let me put something down here and flip this monkey upside down so we can look at the backing. Okay, yep, pretty typical. One thing I don't like, they used looks like nuts and bolts under this backing. Cheap, shitty backing. They used the rubber cement, so it'll peel off in a month. As soon as you get the humidity, it'll come off. But I mean, at least it's not that padded bullshit, and it'll work for now until I can re-leather it. I guess I'll throw it on my shoulder. Oh shit! Point it at this camera so you can kind of get a reference size-wise. So, seems to be pretty decent size. It's heavier than shit. There's no way this leather's gonna hold this thing up. There's no way the leather's gonna hold up on this thing. This thing is gonna collapse trying to hold it up. It's just the weight of these plates is ridiculous. Try to prop it like that for now. I'll get back over to my mic. Guys, I don't even know what to say, man. That's pretty fucking impressive. It's I'm gonna say it is a little bit smaller than the original, I would have to say. Shape-wise and everything, it looks pretty good. It is heavier than shit. That thing's by far the heaviest piece I've got in my collection here, and all that stuff. So, I'm kind of surprised. To be honest, I'm almost speechless. I don't really know what to say. Came out really good. I said once we got kind of past the language barrier, and he realized I wasn't someone to play with. Even as belt collector Joe, you're not gonna hustle me on everything. He was all right, and it wasn't too bad. And the product, for the price point, my God, like. The belts that I've seen, okay, so this is 4mm zinc, 4mm stacked. I've seen like the 3mm zinc plates that aren't stacked go for $300 or so. This is a $200 price point. So I think this was $225 or something like that for this belt. So with shipping, so like, I really don't know what to say. I mean, it came out pretty damn good. So yeah, it's it's a little bit undersized, but not by much. Not by much. If I had to guess, I'll put a tape on it, but I don't think it's that much. So we'll see what's happening. So yeah, so that one we'll sit here. We'll add that. We'll do a re-leather on that one, and we'll do that as part of a project, and we'll display it right here on our table, I guess, because it's that's a beauty. Like, I don't know what to say. And then we'll talk about it, and that will be, our friends at Allstate Tire really hooked us up on this particular maneuver. So, I'm surprised that thing looks as good as it does, guys. I really don't know what to say. I expected that thing to come out and rip it. Like, that's why I'm speechless. Like, I was ready to go. I was like, let's look at this one. But see, this kind of goes to my point, right? Like, you got cats out there with credibility that people like and respect and appreciate, dogging these cats and saying that you're going to get garbage when they obviously threw red flags. But in this, they're not selling you garbage, at least not in this case. So like, I don't know what to say on that level other than, we need to do more research before we totally annihilate these guys. But once again, the red flags are the red flags. But the other thing is too, guys, a red flag, even somebody could give it up a red flag while they're telling you about a red flag. And it's simple. If you're, a shill or a middleman or somebody making money off another company, and that is in direct competition with you, price point wise, kind of what you're putting out there, all that stuff, it might be in your best benefit to knock that other guy down, so that your guy can do better. And so that's why when guys that there's a conflict of interest there sometimes. So there was no conflict of interest. I don't make these fucking things. I can't, wouldn't, and not going to. And so there's no conflict of interest here. I'm going to tell you the truth, if they're good or bad. But if I was a guy that made these, of course I would tell you this guy sucks, because I want you to get them from my guy. So we got to remember that too as part of this hobby. It's not just all these other red flags, because as you can see, even with those flags, look at what we pulled out. I'm going to take some good up close pictures, some good video, something better than this thing, and I'll post it in the BCU group, guys. So go ahead and do that, and then make your decision on your own, man. Who knows? Maybe this guy does it. Maybe I'm the only guy that got a good belt. I don't know. But if you look at his eBay status and you look under this particular championship, he's got all great reviews from buyers that have bought it. And so, what can I say? The communication was off. He tried to sneak a few things by me. But in the end, I didn't take long, and I got a good product for a great price. I love it or hate it, that's what fucking happened. So there's the verdict on Bingo Fashions. Be wary, but don't be scared, especially via eBay. You've got options to protect yourself and get your money back. So there you go, guys. I know Backlash is starting it up in about 60 seconds. We would normally go live with You know what? I'll get his real name to you guys. I'll put it in the group when I put the pictures up. It's in my email. So I'll get you the maker's name. So you'll have his name outside of just Bingo. I think I got his name in there. I'm pretty sure. So I'll put that out there, and I'll put the information out there, and we'll put it in the BCU group so you guys can see it. And you get a better look at the picture, at the belt and whatnot. So, and then it's up to you guys. Like I said, I'm not telling you to go out and buy it from this guy. I mean, if all those flags are up there, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? That would always be my advice to you. But, we got a little bit of sponsorship back on this new show, backing on this new show. So I wasn't afraid to blow their money on this particular situation. So in the end, we learned, I don't know what we learned. I think we learned that, not everything is as it seems sometimes. So, all right. So I know you guys want to get to Backlash. I'm going to let you guys go and do that. We would normally be having a virtual party, watching it together, hanging it out. But instead, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time on the J-Dub Belts page, we're going to go and we're going to do some New Japan. I guess they're doing some new live shows, so there should already be something done. I know they're going live or doing a new show, I believe, tomorrow. But I think it'll be in the middle of the day for our time. So we'll go 7 p.m. Eastern on the J-Dubs. We'll get the New Japan up. We'll watch some wrestling. We'll hang out, and we'll share more stuff and just hang out and do whatever. I could use it. But I got work to do, lots of grinding to do. Going back to my regular day job. I hope you guys are getting back to some normalcy as I'm starting to just now get there. So guys, just be safe out there. Be smart. Take care of your family. Take care of your business. Do the right thing. Be good to each other. It'll all be good, man. Like I said, I'm going back to the day job, so that's why I was on the grind so hard. Grind. And this next week or so, guys, anybody from J-Dubs, next week, by next weekend, I should be caught up, and I'll start getting things out. I apologize. It's just crazy out here, but it's all getting caught up, and it's all good. And I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow on the J-Dubs page. Be good to each other, man. Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.